guys, today we'll be installing Trainz on the deck. Spoiler alert, it will obviously run, but it's not a Steam game, so there's a little bit more to install. So I'll take you through the method I took to install it, and then we'll see how well it runs. The install will be done on the desktop side of the Steam Deck. Now, the first thing you're going to need are your install files. You download these from the Trainz website. I put them on SD card ready to use later. Now you head to the Discovery store and you search for bottles. Top left, I've written bottles. This is it. You click install. Takes a while. So we close the Discovery store, we head to the main menu. I didn't know it was, so I went to all applications, went down to B to bottles, and we open it up. Now I sped this up, but the first install, the first open up does take a while. So we click through, and then it wishes to download a few more things. Again, it takes a while, but I sped it up. Next we head to Preferences. Now I want to change the location of the install file, so I click down to here. That's actually the reset button, so we click on this one and hey presto. Now I want to put it on my SD card, but at the moment it can't read it. So I'm looking through, but it can't see it. So we close the application, go to the Start menu, then we go to Utilities and go to Flat. So if you don't have this, it's in the Discovery store. This application can give access to other programs. So within Bottles at the moment it doesn't have access to the files location we need, so that's what it can do for us. So looking down the page, you can see it does quite a few different things. But what we want to do is add a file location. So go back to Explorer. Now this is primary is the SD card I want to install it. That's the location at the top in the address bar. So we're going to copy that. Go back to Flat Seal again. Click the Add button and we're going to paste it in. And that's it. So we close that down, open up Bottles again, go back to the Preferences, back into Advanced again, and now under the other locations, no, Home. Still wasn't as easy as I hoped. Go Run, Media. Yeah, eventually I see it. And there's our SD card. Now we're going to put it in Games, but we're going to create a new folder and call that Windows. That's it, click Open. I'd call that Save personally, but then that's basically done. Then we create Bottle. It's going to be for gaming. Now at this point I call it Trainz 22 with a space. Don't put spaces in. It causes so many problems later on. Now that's doing something in the background. But while it's doing it, in the file system we're going to actually locate it. It's already created a C drive, you can see. So I'm deciding where am I going to put our download file. These are the ones I downloaded from the Trainz website. So here's a good place. Users Desk Downloads. I'm going to create a new tab because this Explorer can have multiple tabs. Go to the files at the bottom left. You see where the mouse is. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste it in there. Now this will take a while to actually copy over, and also the install actually takes a while. I just speed it up on the video. But eventually it's done. So now it's installed, so we click on the little right arrow. And then we click on the arrow to get to utilities. I go browse C. There we go. It's like an old Windows Explorer, isn't it? So my computer, C drive, users, yep, eventually, deck, downloads, it's our install, the install files. So we double click and we install as normal. No different to doing it on Windows. And if you've installed Trainz before, you've probably recognised this screen also. So we've dumped everything to low. We start it up. Now if you want to run it on a desktop now, you are done. Now the thing about this login here, the username works, but the password, it doesn't show anything. So it doesn't look like it's doing anything when you write it in, but it does. So you do actually log in and it does work. As I say, at this point, if you're just wanting to run it on the desktop, you're done. You don't have to do any more. So let's have a quick look what it actually looks like then. I've done nothing. This is just on low settings, running as is. Now we're going to be running a lot more but later, but we've got a few other things we want to do first. This is just a quick look to see if it runs. Now we don't want to be going to utilities, browse C every time we want to run it, so we click this button. We'll go and find it, so it's on to primary, isn't it? Then it's in games, Windows, Trainz, C drive. It's going to be in program files, NV3, within this folder. For some reason I decided to widen it out. It's at the bottom of the page basically. Click on there. Now it doesn't show yet, so we click back, and then we click the right arrow again, and there it is down the bottom, you can see it. But if we click there, I've done it twice. The first time I didn't notice I'd done it, so I've done it twice. It doesn't matter. But you can see it's below in programs as well, but if you click it on there, it opens. And if you click it there, more importantly, there's our shortcut. Now the ultimate aim for me though is to get this onto Steam mode, onto game mode. So we want to add it onto Steam. So the first method I decide to use is I go to add non-game. I then go to browse. I eventually find it. Yeah, there's the SD card. Right, so then I go to games. And this is not how you should do it. Because what you end up doing is Bottles has created an environment for Windows to work. And what I'm going to be doing in a minute is in creating a new environment using Proton. So I'm duplicating it. But I carry on. I work out by this point I'm doing this, but I carry on because I want to see if there's if it's any better using it like this. So anyway, we've gone all the way to found it on there. We've gone to add. So technically we don't really need bottles anymore. We could just do it this way if we wanted. So you go to properties, and this is where we add the Proton, but we get force compatibility, Proton experimental. Click that shut. Now the first time we open it, it would install that. So it takes a while, but again I edit all that out and it loads it. But I have to log in again because it's created a complete new environment for it. Either way, I switch over because technically it's done what I wanted it to do. But this isn't ultimately how we're going to do it. So I get into there, click play. Actually, no, I don't. I go into the joystick. I want to give it a layout. And then I click play. And then the initial window's like this. And they're like, there's another reason not to do it with Proton, because this happens. So we can just about press the top button. And we try again. Honestly, it's no better than it was with bottles. So we're not going to be doing it like this. So what we want to do is get Trainz to open within bottles from Steam. So we're back on the desktop mode. We click on these three dots. We've opened bottles, obviously. Add desktop entry, which that will show a link here. If you open it, you'll notice it opens it, but you don't need to have the interface, bottles interface. It opens it directly. Now I'll show that code in a second, but the location of that file that in the start menu is here. So if you guess properties, go to applications. Now this is a bit of code. This is what actually runs, and this is that code. So it's a flat pack. It's called bottles. And it says run the TSR and Trainz 22. So the TSR 8 is that bit code there, and the Trainz there is the location. So if I shut that down, you can see in the address bar right now, there's the location. Now the next thing we need to do is go back into FlatSeal. And we need to give it access to the home, deck, local, share applications, just like last time. Otherwise, it won't actually open when you just directly click on it. So we copied and pasted it in, basically. Now what we're going to try and do now is that link, add it directly into Steam to see what actually happens. So you browse it. So that's where it is, home, deck, local, share, applications. Local, yeah, share, applications, Trainz. We open it, and what's going to happen? So there it is, add selected. So remember, on the start menu, click on it, it works. So will it work? We're going to click on it, and nothing, it doesn't work. At this point I'm a little bit disappointed. So I figured, alright then we'll put bottles in. We'll add bottles in. There it is, down the bottom. So if we can't load it directly, we'll just load it from bottles. So we open it up. Click on there and we could open it and it would work. And it works on the other mode, I've tested it. Works on game mode as well on the Steam Deck. So I was going to leave it there, but me being me, of course I'm not. This is the code which opens bottle from in Steam. Now if we right click on to the one we looked at earlier, this is the code which runs it from that start menu. So I'm going to start comparing it. So at the top is the start menu code, the middle one is what runs bottles, and the bottom one is what we're going to turn it into. So look at the CLI, that's on the top line, so we're going to add that in. So if the middle one doesn't have it, it does now on the bottom line. So we continue, we get rid of those ats, I have no idea what they are, and then we're going to add the TRSA 22, basically all that bit. and add it onto the end. Yes, we copy and paste the whole lot. This is our new line. This is an amalgamation of both those lines now. Back into properties. So we're going to get all of it. And then we're going to paste what we just got in. Shut that down. Now what will happen now? Click on it. And now it opens Trainz 22 instantly. There you go. Now the benefit of this, we're not using Proton. We're only using bottles. So we're not duplicating what we've already done. So to finish it off, we're going to change the shortcut name from bottles to Trainz 22. And if we right click there, I already downloaded this, just got to navigate to home, images, and we can give it an image. It's not the best image, but it's something. Now back in game mode again. We've gone into Trainz 22, we're loading it. It takes a while, but I'm not going to edit this. This is exactly how long it took. Just a few more seconds. It does get faster. There we go, full screen as well. All those menus work. Part of the content store. Ha. But before we can actually use it, we need to go to edit layout. Now I couldn't quite decide what I wanted to do. So we end up with a gamepad with mouse, edit it, because the trackpad, the right trackpad's always, if you click it in, it's by default is a right click, mouse click. I prefer left mouse click. So there we go, we're going to change that over. Back into resume, and now I can actually start the game. Now at this point we've got normal textures, everything else set to low, but Turf FX is on. We've actually got controller support switched on as well, which is why we actually had we set the control up then with mouse. So the triggers at the back are up speed, more speed, less speed. The D-pad up and down is near and further away. Now we're going to set it to 60, and if you look, watts is 15. It's always going to be 15 with this game. The right joystick, I think, is move about. I don't think left does anything, does it? I think that's the way around it is. If you push up again and out again on the D-pad to go in and out, you can actually go into the cab. .26 FPS. But it does dip a lot. Now this is a different session. Now this is, if you didn't know, it's the Kickstarter 2 route. I think that's 4 sessions on it. At this point that's all we've got downloaded. We are going to attempt to download 2 more routes later on. 40 FPS, I was thinking about actually trying to do the session, but then I thought, better not. And a better option would be to put some speed on so it actually happens. 22 FPS, 26. Now, you must remember, this is actually on an SD card. It's a very expensive SD card. It's one which is recommended for the Steam Deck, but it's still an SD card. It's not going to be an SSD speeds. And some of the, well, a lot of the start-stop is going to be because of that. At some point I'll be getting a new terabyte SSD for inside the Steam Deck, so we'll try again maybe and see what the differences are. But what we're going to do is turn the clutter and the Turf FX off, and if you can see, the texture at the moment is still normal. And the last test we do, we'll turn that down to low as well. But even so, we're getting a better FPS. Moving about to see what actually happens. 53, 51. Inside the cab again, 52. I think I'm going to lock it to... did I lock it there to 30? Yes, I think I did. I was looking at the other side of the screen. Okay, so now we're going to try and download a route. We'll do it from within game mode. So we click download and we get to the content, purchase content screen. Now, it's actually working, but it can't show you. So if you were to double click on that dot, something comes up. It's not always what you think it's going to be. So if I double click there, that's what comes up. The problem is, in game mode, you're stuck there. Now, if you look on the left, so switch windows, you switch them, nothing happens, which is a shame. So if you want to download, it's got to be in desktop mode. Now that still happens, but if you minimize the screen, we'll do it a couple times. I've said this before, but my Wi-Fi on this thing is terrible. So you minimize it. I'm actually sitting just below the router. Here we go, so it's showing you now. So if I click update, it won't do anything. But if I minimize it again, no, I've got to physically minimize it. So at the moment, in a moment I'll work that out. Yes, here we go. And there we go. It's actually downloading 2 routes. So essentially, it can't show moving content on the Trainz content window. It does fully work. It just can't show moving content. So you have to minimize it and bring the window back up to see the progress. Now we're back in game mode. We've opened the game up, and here are 2 routes. It starts off okay at 30 FPS. But it soon gets down to 18 and 23. Now I think we're still on normal textures at this point, but everything else is set to low. I don't know, this doesn't feel playable to me, if I'm honest. So we finally set this to low. And we have another go. And this doesn't really feel any better. .14 FPS there. I think the SD card is a part of the stop-start, but the FPS is, I don't believe so. So one last session to try. Remember, we're limiting it to 30. It probably could do higher at this point. Can't go inside the window. You can actually just about see through it, but possibly because on low graphics, maybe. So you can't use the internal screen there, the cab view. Trying to find a good view, but too many trees. Cut them all down. It's a bit more stable, the FPS. It feels a little bit more playable, this one. So it is going to depend on what route you actually want to play. Right, so we're coming to the end of the video. This is how you install it, but this is how you'd install any Windows program with installer without a, you know, if it's not Steam or Epic or one of the other big brands, you know. Bottles is a good way to go. It does work. But Trainz doesn't work that well. I don't think I'll be keeping it on the Steam Deck. When I finally get the SSD, the new larger SSD, so I can put it internally, I'll try it, but I don't think it's going to be a lot better. See, the stop-start here is the SD. It says 30. I don't have enough space internally to actually put this game on. Well, this has been a fun experiment. I do hope it's been a useful video for you guys as well. Obviously, I've slanted this video for Trainz on the Steam Deck, but it could be any Windows application on a Linux desktop, on a Linux distribution. The Steam Deck is just a Linux device. It's running Arch, it's running a KDE Plasma desktop, and Bottles is a flat pack which runs on most, if not all, distributions. Hopefully this has been a fun and useful video for you guys, but for me it's been a great experiment. I've enjoyed every moment of it. So for me it's worth doing, because now I know. It was fun. It was fun as a process doing, because I like to fiddle, but yeah, it just doesn't work that well on the Steam Deck, so I won't be keeping it. But anyway, for me that's going to be it. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it useful. And if you did, please press the like button. If you want to see more, please subscribe and press that ding-dong bell button. You know what it does. See you next time, guys. Cheers then. Bye-bye.